buckle up because I want to today have a discussion about ethics and corporations and conflicts that arise in the food industry that make it more difficult to eat healthy as we all want to and try to plan for. And this won't be too long. I'm not deep diving today or anything like that, but I did want to just discuss some important things that people may or may not be aware of, but I think they can plan a course. And that's why I decided to mainly go natural with everything. But one of the reasons I came across 5 points that I wanted to discuss today, and one of those is marketing and advertising. Companies spend a lot of money marketing and advertising. When I was younger and I would grocery shop, I would really just feel like everything I could buy was perfectly safe, surely, because we have FDA and all those things, and if it's for sale, it has to be good for us no matter what. And as I've been learning as I got older, that's not always the case, and there's definitely reasons into that. And so it's really important to do our own research. So they have a big skin in the game, and companies that do that, they of course have a lot of sometimes influence with lobbyists and things like that, but because they have all that money, they can make food look really appealing that isn't always good for us, and it can lead to promoting unhealthy options. And on the lobbying, the second point that I wanted to talk about today, lobbying and political influence. Companies often lobby to influence government policies and regulations that can affect what foods are approved and how they are labeled. And I know when I was in college, my senior year, I was selected to be an intern in legislation, state legislation in Colorado. And my degree was not politics, but it was social work, but I was chosen, so I thought, well, this would be good to learn things. So I took it, and I attended a lot of with my legislator that I was assigned to. I attended a lot of luncheons and things like that lobbyists would put on, and it always amazed me what does go on with all that sort of thing. And one time we had a luncheon from the Dental Association, and they were showing us the worst, awful looking mouths and teeth that looked painful even as we were trying to eat lunch, and I couldn't even eat, but it was kind of funny when I look back on it. But anyway, there is a lot of influence that goes into getting things approved that maybe shouldn't be approved. And case in point, like in Europe, where they pay medical care, they have banned corn syrup, and it's not allowed over there. And a lot of food dies because it's not healthy. And and there was even something I was researching this week, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was definitely in the studies before proven harmful to animals, but yet it was later approved for food without, changing it. So there's just a lot of stuff that does happen that can be surprising. And when you dig in and do your own research on it, it can be really surprising. Even this week I was researching a little bit about the Impossible meat and the other meat that a lot of fast foods use. And I was like, oh gosh, um, it's just stuff that's added that, and they say, oh, it's going to make it healthier than meat. And it's like, in what world? The regular meat didn't have all this crazy meats. When I was doing my research for a lot of fast foods use now, certain fast foods, and I won't name because you need just do your own research on it. But one of the meats that they make burgers and different meats at certain fast foods, they had a 2017 production of it, and then they recognize, okay, yeah, it can be harmful. So they had a 2.0 in 2019 of it, but it's just, you have to really do your own research on that stuff, and it is good to take the time to do that so that you're not caught up buying stuff that, I remember buying one of those that was in what I researched at one of the fast foods a few years ago. I did buy one of those burgers, and I just thought, oh, it's beans and veggies. It's a veggie burger. It's got to be good for you. And I didn't realize stuff that it had in it and what all that could mean. So, do your research. But, and then the third point, research and development. Yeah, corporations invest in developing new food products, which can lead to innovative but sometimes less healthy options. So, yeah, like that, and that fits in with what I was just saying about the meat, where they said, well, this has to be healthier than beef. And God made beef and put it on here, and as long as you don't add a bunch of stuff to it, it would be healthier than the compounds they mix to put in this other stuff that I researched. But, and then another factor is the supply chain control. Large companies control many parts of the food supply chain, from farming to distribution, which can impact the availability of quality food. And I think that can lead to costs and all kinds of things. So, if you have a family that's trying to survive on a lower budget, and they have to go out and buy hot dogs to stretch their budget versus some really good quality meat, just because of that cost. And I just, yeah, and I don't think that's fair, but I think everybody, especially you have people that work hard in life, and they should be able to afford quality food just like other people. But unfortunately, that is what it is. And the fifth thing is that economic interests, profit motives can sometimes lead to prioritizing cost-effective ingredients over healthier options. And yeah, I think, when corporations, some of them want to earn money out of it than what they would make if they have quality. And there's some really good companies and corporations, of course, that and American companies that do really try to provide quality food for people, and I'm very grateful for that. And quality ingredients. And just like there's some companies, for example, that would supply maybe a natural plant sweetener that's healthier than the cane sugar or whatever. It may not affect your glucose tolerance and things. versus then there's some that just have other chemicals as an artificial sweetener that are not so good for you. And so there's where you really, need to appreciate that we have a lot of resources now to research and look into. Just like when I was looking into that meat, I was like, okay, what's in it? And what is this? These things that I can't even name that's in it. What do these do to you, or what can they cause? And what were doctors saying about it? And just different things that it's good to take that time and do your research. Um, the um, That's the bottom line, really. You just trying to go, I would say, as natural as possible, without foods. When you pick up your ingredients, can, the first ingredient is what's going to be the most in that can, and then each ingredient thereafter a little bit, not as much, but yeah, the stuff that's the most in that. And when you pick up something like, box cereal for your children and the first ingredient is sugar, that's not really good. You don't want them one day becoming glucose intolerant and having diabetic problems and other health problems that lead from that. And then when you get a bunch of ingredients, after that you can't even pronounce and you have no idea what they are, that's not good. So, and I remember there was a study, in the 50s. Well, I don't remember, I wasn't in the 50s, but I remember researching this, that, and they said, well, this one guy who had corporation ties and good reason for it, the further research I did, kind of changed our whole food pyramid in the 50s, saying, well, you don't want to eat things like bacon and eggs and, this sort of thing. It's not as good for you. You need to eat cornflakes and that sort of thing. And there were, yeah, it's just, and so that's why it's good to, even when they say they have, what is their background and what is their research, and what on the research, what did, really look at the research, and who all did it include, and what and how, and because it can, a lot of those can be skewed sometimes. So, yeah, I know this isn't probably all that interesting, and it may just be stuff people already know. But as I, go further into this, and, I want to lay a foundation on everything I want to talk about later, and there's other things I want to share more about. Even when it comes to health, besides nutrition, I mean, I think that's the starting point, to have good gut health. But I think it's important to look at other factors too. And I do want to talk about other diagnoses further, and what people are struggling with, and eventually talk about even mental health stuff or emotional stuff, and just all those things that can affect our health and happiness. So you can like, share, and subscribe, because then it, the more, if you subscribe, you get notifications, and then the more people get involved later, I can hopefully build a community where people can all share with what they're dealing with, what's going on, or what to talk about. And I would like to eventually, really, if I can grow this, get into interviewing some professionals and looking into some other things that would be fun. But thank you for, again, coming today and watching my video. And you guys, if I don't see you again this week, have a wonderful week, and be safe and do your research.